Behind me is Carrigallen National School, built in 1916. The original school, as you can see from this drawing was, no photograph could be found of the school, so we picked Joe Gormley's brains, and along with him and Martin Fulham, that's what they come up with, and that will be featured on the front of the book, which will be launched later on. The school was renovated in about 1916, and while it was being renovated, over here on my left in the hall, the old Gaelic Hall, that's where school was held. In 1974, all the schools, rural schools, closed down. In Behamore, out that road, Gortamone, out that road, down past the church they came, and down up through this other road they came from Drumbrainless School, which is way up the Arbor Road, in 1974. So there was a big influx of pupils into Carrigallen National School. Well, we're here now for the next couple of hours celebrating with the past pupils, boys and girls of Carrigallen National School, a history of Carrigallen over 100 years. It originated up under the church up here. There was an old school, and they moved down in 1916 to Carrigallen National School, and from then on we will be taking it from, we will be launching a book later on in the Kilbracken Arms, and we will be showing you 100 years of Carrigallen National School history. In the meantime, we might be showing you bits and pieces down the church road. Well, I remember sometimes in the summer when the seats were brought out, and this was what it might look like when we were going to school, and everyone going back to the 1916s on through the years. We see Paul and Edel McIntyre. I think Paul might have went to the school here. A lot of his family went to it. So that's how you might have looked. Pupils coming down the road and up the road and in at school would be looking over the years at this house. Well, this house is the parish priest's house, always was. We've had numerous parish priests, and through the next couple of hours we will be getting to know all the different names, and they will be featured in the history book. But at the present it's Canon John Young. A lot of people wouldn't remember this house now because they couldn't see it with trees and everything. He has had them all removed, and I think you could say that there's a wonderful job been done on it here. He was a very forward-thinking parish priest, and a lot of credit for a lot of the things that you will see later on in the video will have to go to him. He has incorporated a part of the corn mill wheel down here that came in from Francie Smith's. You can see that we're looking at this house here, which was not here in the early up to, I suppose, 1960 or that. This is the home of Jack McManus and his son Seamus and his wife Helen. All of them past pupils of Carrigallen National School. Seamus McManus, of course, went on to play for Leitrim, and I would say that Jack McManus would be one of the oldest past pupils who will be present over the weekend. Just down below it there, you can see another of the McManus, Jackie McManus, is in residence with his wife Margaret, his son Andrew, who went to Carrigallen National School, JP, Barbara and Catherine. I don't know if Catherine did now, but that house was originally owned by Jackie's grandmother, Mrs. Jimmy McManus. And I remember when I was going to school, she used to have trees in front of it, and she painted it every different colour that could be painted. This is the local Garda barracks, which had served Carrigallen for an awful lot of years. An awful lot of sergeants and guards have come to check the rolls in Carrigallen. At the moment, it's John Mulligan, a Charlestown, County Mayo man, who has spent, I suppose, 15 or 16 years here now. All his family went to Carrigallen National School. I think it is Pauline, Carmel, Tina and Nicola. And Bill Masney is the guard at present here. And his family are going to it. We're standing outside the Kilbracken Arms Hotel here, waiting the arrival of people to come for the launching of 100 years of Carrigallen National School, the Breda National School. And we look forward to a very nice evening.
Wait,
his account of the production of the magazine. We're calling on Aidan Hart.
Ladies and gentlemen, it would be less than honest to say that this book was born and bred in bliss. It was far from it. It was nothing like it. The flag that flew from Carrigallen to Cavan in the initial stages, you could bottle it, sell it as our seed. But we had our problems, which I'll explain to you later. But the tension was something on my first or second trip to the publishers. The managing director, she looked at me for 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. And the flat had been mighty, I can tell you that. And I said, and I could hear her, I could read her thoughts. I said, she had a bundle of folios in her hand, and I could see large lumps of confetti coming sailing around my head, and it was late in the day, having made the plunge. So I really thought she was saying, Leitrim, lovely Leitrim, my arse. And that's what she was saying. I knew I had to break the tension. It was as simple as that. And saving your reverence, pardon, I said, Geraldine, business is business, and love is bullshit. And all of a sudden, the penny dropped with a canny, Cavan business girl. And from that day since, we never looked back, and cooperation was absolutely first class. We got that out of the way. And talking about that tension, and I had to think about it. Abbey said, stand in the middle of Farnham Street, and right a few paces from it, in the centre of the town, you have the old Cistercian Abbey. I believe it's the Cistercians, I don't know. Ken and Young couldn't write this, but in the middle of the village, right beside the Abbey set, the aptly called Abbey set. And the Cistercians were protected by one of the Gaelic clans, Clan Iradi. And they looked after and protected the Cistercians before we were broken into Irish. One of the great Gaelic chieftains, Owen O'Neill, is buried a few paces from the Bud Wall of the old Abbey. It so happened that here, with the good grace of Molloy and Larry Williams, we set up our mobile literary home in the grounds of Cloncorry Castle, which was the original seat of power of the O'Rourke's of Breffni. And it was their last stronghold towards the northeastern part of its territory. And in fact, as I told you, the flak that was flying between Carrigallen and Cavan, that same flak was flying 600 years ago when the O'Rourke's and the O'Reillys got at it too, in a different way. That is the truth. But having said that, the difficulties that we encountered were due to the fact that modern technology has lifted the whole plane of of books, of print. Now I've been with books more years than I'd like to tell you now, but that is the truth. I've been handling books ever since I was 4 years of age. But modern technology now is such that I have to tell you that the old original typesetter that I thought was still in existence, I think as far as I know, the typesetter has now been replaced by modern technology. And nowadays, if you want to send and submit to a publisher, you need bold black type that stands out there and told it can be scanned. Unfortunately, it's taken away employment, as I read it, from the old typesetter, the painstaking P-H-E-V-I-C-T or whatever. It looks like the way it's going. And I did employ Campbell McGuinness here, who's a professional typist, and I would like to say that lots of people, 4 or 5 people here submitted typewritten work that you and I could read, a child could read, but it's not technically fit for the modern scanning business. And Breed said to me it's a pity that that cannot be, because people, amateur typists can get the message across no problem. But modern technology does not pick up. I have to call it an inferior type of type. There are some people in their own professions, but they're not professional typists. That's the way I read it anyway. There were short fuses there. There were short fuses here too, let's face it. 4 of us worked hard and worked hard together. And when you have a bit of passion, you need passion in a football team, you need passion for procreation, I suppose. You need passion to get the job off the ground, and if you fall out, one of the committees isn't speaking anymore, Shawn Mcmanus. Shawn Donnelly would presumably he'd have to speak to me when he interviews the editor, maybe on Friday evening or something like that. So I would suggest that Killian McGuinness can do the commentary, and for me, and Mr. Donnelly can hold the camera. Anyway, I do have to thank people. And the first I'll kick off with, you hear about all this negative thing about school, but I have to say in good faith, and in the book you shall see, there are about 40 or 50 different contributors from around Carrigallen, and it's great to see it. There's a cynical negative aspect in some people. I wasn't even conscious of it. People gave really, I was glad to associate with the book, which, fairness, we all have good and bad memories of school, but school is your formative years. And for that I said thanks to them very much without them to be no book. I do have to thank the editorial staff, and in particular, I must say, Maureen Williams. She was the Chancellor of the Exchequer, and without a Chancellor of an Exchequer, you're going to have nothing really. It's a definitely important. That round of applause says it all, that's the truth. At one stage, the passion was so deep that Maureen made a suggestion to me. She says, why not transfer our literary headquarters from Glencorrick Castle to Glencorrick? I live in Glencorrick at the other end of the town land, but that's the way things will go. Whatever. Shawn Donnelly, Maureen Gormley, Maureen who painstakingly fetched out photos, which is crucial to a book to make a book interesting. Maureen ferreted out photographs left, right and centre, and give her a round of applause, please, because these. And raised cash. Shawn Donnelly did a painstaking job on the road. Every child in the booklet tells you, not the booklet but the additive or call it what you like, tells you the name and the townland of every child, I believe, from the day the school opened to the day the school finished. There would be presumably 20 children per year. Every child is logged there and its townland, since the day the school opened to the day the school was there. It's a pity we hadn't the roads of the old school where all my people went. I had 16 in my family, father, mother, and 14 aunts and uncles, all at school here. Most of them, 13 of them, went to the old school that stood between the 2 palm trees outside St. Mary's Church. Maybe that's why I'm here. Now, just a moment. I have to thank a man whose contribution to the book was invaluable, Tony Fye, for graphic design. Tony. I've said it already. To Killian and Antoinette, I found your cooperation, I must admit, happy set printers in Cavan, absolutely first class, and tell Geraldine I was asking for incidentally. Martin Fulham was the artist who draws, I know he draw. Martin Fulham, an artist, lives between here
and Killian, just opposite, beyond the Killian. Martin Fuller is responsible for page 1. And before you give him a round of applause, this is more important. I have an apology to make, because I've just been told that Joe Gawley's name did not appear in that book. Well, it should have appeared in that book. Unfortunately, it's not there. It is put on the video of Joe Gawley. Joe Gawley, when you look at the book, he from memory, he drew the original design of the old school. And I've shown Joe Gawley's handiwork to people who went to school there. We had no photograph. I applied through shop windows for a photograph of the 1916 school. It seems incredible. There wasn't a photograph of the 1916 school to be found. I was up there the day Joe Gawley with the artist and Shawn Donnelly, and Joe Gawley, whose father worked at the building of that school, Joe's father was the foreman. And Joe, with his expertise, reproduced from memory the old school the way it was, and has totally changed the building as it stands there. Joe got it back spot on, but no wonder he's the household name in his craft in his hands. Will you give Joe please a round of applause? And Martin followed it for the first class reproduction and the first class drawing. Martin has been commissioned to do a drawing of a proper frame drawing, and that's the main committee are raffling that during the course of the festivities. I have to say, pay a compliment and very much sincere thanks to Breach Campbell McManus, because if she saw me once, she saw me a dozen times. You see, unfortunately, a lot of the original articles that were submitted to me, we had to bring them back. And I had always Breach Campbell McManus in my mind because we worked closely together with the Leitrim Observer. And I thank sincerely Breach Campbell McManus for her expertise and her excellence in her typing that made our work and the work of the Abbey Set. I was told in Abbey Set that Breach Campbell McManus's work made our work an awful lot easier. She's a professional at her job. I have to say, and very importantly, one of the biggest trial things teachers have in life is correcting stuff. Slaving through 20 pages of history in one essay, or 20 pages of English, God knows what. Now, I found the most boring, back-breaking part of the job was the proofreading. And we proofread it 4 times, no less than 4 times we had to proofread it. And for that, I sincerely thank 2 teachers I invited in. I invited them in, and they came and they gave up their services, just they love to give up their services. The 2 were Michael O'Rourke, Breffney House of Arts, who lectures also in mine and in Trinity College, and my cousin Mary Shawn Jemison, who came from Curragh, Roscommon, on several occasions, a distance of 30 miles. Would you please give for their painstaking work? And finally, I now hand the book to the secretary of the main committee, and the editorial subcommittee. Well, we like to think we've contributed to your work in making the Return of the Exiles that more enjoyable. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Aidan. I don't think there's anything I can say about Aidan or the editorial staff that produced the book that isn't going to be said or isn't going to be obvious to when you take the 73 pages and go through it. The standard and the way it was put together is very evident indeed, and it wasn't easy. They spent a lot of hours on it, and the community and the town is lucky to have people of the calibre of Aidan Hart, Maureen Gormley, Maureen Williams, John Donnelly. I do hope I'm not forgetting anybody that are prepared to give their time to this. It's not every community could put. I spent one brief meeting out there in Cloncorrick at Maureen Williams' home. There's not many communities would have people prepared to sit down, spend their long summer, we'll not say good summers, but wet summer afternoons pouring through reams and reams of material to eventually emerge with what must be a beautiful magazine to commemorate the 100 years of Carrigallen School. Having said that, now I'd like to call on Canon Young to officially launch the booklet.
Well, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honour for me to be with you. So to distinguished gathering here of people who went, Carrigallen people who from far away who went to Carrigallen School and who are proud and happy and have very happy memories of Carrigallen and their days of school. We all have various memories of school, of course, and that's good and bad and happy and unhappy. But overall, I think we can be proud of the education that we received and the people of Carrigallen and of those who went to this old school up at St. Mary's and those who went to the school that was closed there recently value and appreciate the education that they got and the start that it gave them in life. Without that, of course, most of you here wouldn't be what you are, because it's the education that counts in the long run, and the drive and the ambition and the enterprise of people, something that is stimulated when you are at school and you're inspired by what the teacher tells you. And I remember my own teacher at home in Drumcrab, he was a Leitrim man, Seamus Gilheany, come from Curraleigh down from Dorada, and he always preached about buying Irish goods. And it's something that remained with me all my life, and I always try to support, when I can, anything that is made in Ireland, because if you buy Irish goods, well, you're keeping people working here in Ireland, and the very same as a local community, supporting local enterprise, local business, not going 100 miles away or 50 miles away and capable of writing something interesting and something that will be of abiding interest to Carrigallen people, but especially Carrigallen people who are in America or in England or abroad or haven't been home for a long time and who went to school here, to read about their students or their fellow scholars, the people who were with them when they were at school and what they're doing now and where they are. I just want to congratulate the committee, the organising committee, congratulate the editor and the staff, congratulate all the contributors. I haven't read them all. I've glanced through it, read some of the little bits in it, and I know in years to come it'll be looked upon as a social history of the last number of years and of the type of things that's taking place now in Carrigallen. It could be the beginning of a sort of a self-help movement when people come together to do something for themselves. It means a lot. It gives people pride in themselves and pride and confidence in themselves and confidence in their ability to do things for themselves and pride in the locality and in the community. And that's really what builds community and what makes a place worth living in, when people are proud of the locality and when they're prepared to stand by it and rather than complain and grumble. You have so many people prepared to grumble, but it's better to light a candle than to be cursed in darkness all the time. When people do something for themselves. And this is an example of what has been done and what can be done. And if people keep together, what you will be able to do. Again, I just want to say how proud I am of this magazine, how proud I am of the people who inspired the idea to begin with and who saw it through. And then the expertise with which the magazine has been put together and the design and the way it's laid out, all that type of thing, means that we've got something that people will be proud of in years to come.
Thank you very much, Canon. I'd like to, on behalf of the committee, the organising committee of the reunion, that is, to thank once again the editorial committee, to thank Canon Young for launching the book. And at this stage I'd like to remind you all that it's important that everybody knows about this reunion. There are many mediums of advertising through papers and local radios and whatnot, but nothing yet can beat the word of mouth from friend to friend. Our scheduled events is as follows. On Friday night, the main event at 8 o'clock on the site of the school, Mass followed by a buffet and dance here. On Saturday night there will be entertainment in an open-air stage across the way in Alpha's car park. On Sunday night the GAA have a final in the park followed by a function here in the hotel. On Monday night we have a musical artist in the Cornwall Theatre in the name of John Farry, singer-songwriter. On Wednesday night the theatre committee has Eleanor Shanley, and on Thursday night the festival events concludes with Paddy McDermott and the Horn of Fame musicians, who are also performing open-air music and street theatrics. And as I say, it's important that everybody, even though 30, 40 miles of anybody that has even the remotest connection with the area, that you tell them all about it and leave no stone unturned to make this a success. As Father Young had said, it could very well be the beginning of something important for this area, and we could build upon it. One other thing I'd like to say before I conclude is that the ladies at the table there are selling tickets for a number of very valuable prizes. The first prize being this beautiful portrait of the National School as it was. That is the old, from Joe Gormley's memory of the old school, and a number of, forgive me, I can't say them, but a number of very other valuable prizes, second and third prizes. And if you feel like a gamble, there's no time better than now. Thank you all for coming along. The members of the reunion committee, I would like just to stay back for a few moments because we have...
After our big launch now, studying every word and every tale, we have John Dolan here now, one of the past pupils. His mother taught school in Carrigallen School, and he is after recognising that he's on television now. Yes, we have beside him Shawn Mcmanus. Shawn, who lives at the corner of Carrigallen, he went to school, to the 1916 school. Next to him is Tommy McNaboe. Tommy now residing in England, home for the reunion. Beside him is Packy Joe McGuinness, brother of Hughie. He arrived yesterday for this reunion. Very nice to see him home. Beside him, having a nice chat here with Jack O'Neill, is Vincey Green. Vincey Green, who has written a lovely article on all the mills. The Green's famous for their mills. And of course, Jack O'Neill beside him here, resident in Main Street. Jack and all his family went to Carrigallen National School. Jack's sons went to the school. And Jack, apart from being very handy in the hardware business, is also very good in the forge. He has a lovely forge at the back of the house, which we might get a chance to see later on. Beside that is Mary Kate Riley, who was Mary Kate McGuinness, and she has written some lovely stuff, given in some lovely photographs. She was married to the late Philip Riley, and they, both of them, are featured in the book, as the two of them were school children of that school who got married. And having a very nice read through the book here now is Barney Doonan, who has contributed a lot of articles to a lot of books down through the years, and scrutinising it along with him is his daughter Bridget, pointing out different things to him. And beside him is John Doonan. And we have arriving here now, with his back to us at the moment. When he gets straightened out now, we'll inform you who he is. There you have Pádraig Riley, local publican. Pádraig, who went to the school, and all his family went to the school. Very noted historian.
I'm just penning back over to the moment.
At the back there we see Christina McManus, who is Christina McManus, who is Christina Murtha, and beside her is Mary Riley, who is originally Mary Riley, daughter of Mary Kate. So you see her moving off there, very shy. Round here we have two past pupils. I'd say they might have been around the one time, I'm not too sure. we have on the left Joe Gormley, and beside him, looking beautiful this evening, is Hugh McGuinness, a brother of Packy Joe who arrived over there yesterday. They all went to the school, they're all enjoying the evening, and we hope to see them all later on at the function and Mass. Corcoran twins here having a perusal of the magazine which has been just launched. There's Helen and Rose. Helen, who is married to Seamus McManus. Rose is living in America, and they're having Rose home here for the reunion. We have here on the right Patricia Higgins, who is married to Charlie Ward. Patricia went to Carrigallen National School. We have Mrs. Farley, who comes originally from Galway. Her husband went to Carrigallen National School, and beside her is her daughter Maura, who is wife of the cameraman here, Killian McGuinness. She's having a lovely study. She'll be looking for faults in this book, maybe. Beside her is Mrs. Eileen Ward, national teacher in Carrigallen, lives on Main Street. And beside that is Charlie Ward, husband of Patricia Higgins. We have launched our history of Carrigallen. We are going out and about to visit some of the people that are contained in this register. We are outside the home of Thomas and Mary Morrow, where we will hear from their two very talented sons, Robert and Andrew, who will play a selection of tunes for us. The Morrow family are famous for their Irish music. They have won more awards than the house can hold, as we will see later. They have won All Ireland medals. We're missing John and Thomas at the moment, but these two younger brothers are well capable of filling in for them. So I'll hand you over to the Morrow brothers to play some selection of tunes. Now looking over Gulladoo Lake, over to the far side where we can see Drumbrainda School. Drumbrainda School closed in 1974 and a lot of the pupils going there came into Carrigallen. And beside that is the late Eddie Whiffin's house. Eddie, who was a great entertainer, as many people will remember. And this is a beautiful setting out here and takes in Arrow. A lot of pupils from Arrow went to Carrigallen National School. I see on the register a Nanny Clark from Arrow went. Katrina Riley disappearing in the door. Katrina's married to Shawn. Katrina comes from Finney. Shawn Riley, past pupil of Carrigallen National School, went to school from Killahork. There's his son Mikey Joe coming out, went to Carrigallen National School too. And all Shawn Riley's family who live in Braid at the moment. Shawn has a lovely house for himself out here now, prospering. Now looking at the Curran household, this is where Shay, Marie, Eamon and Peter left to go to Carrigallen. Crossroads here where the pupils from Kilbracken came in and met the pupils from Brains. Over here is the Old Presbyterian Church, now closed. And on my left here used to be what was the curate's house, now owned by Patrick Mitchell and Yvonne, who got married there recently on their honeymoon.
Well, at least you look the best of us. You and Peter are big.
We're standing outside the Kiernan house in Kilbracken, where we have most of them assembled. Some of them are very shy. I think we called it a very bad time for a few of them. But I let them introduce themselves and where they are now. Starting on the right here.
Margaret Gormley.
Yeah.
How are you?
When did you go to school? Can you remember, Margaret? What year?
1949 to 1956.
Who would your teacher have been that time?
Mrs. Farrell was my infant class teacher and first and second. And then I had, who did I have then? Kelly. Master Kelly for a little while in third class. And then I had Master Mcglynn for the rest of the time.
I see. And you were in Boston now?
Yes.
What age did you go to Boston at?
20. I was there for 30 years. So now you know how old I am.
No, we didn't want that now. Next we have Mrs. Kiernan, mother of the family. The late P. Kiernan went to Carrigallen School, and you didn't go to Carrigallen School. Where were you born, Mrs. Kiernan?
Born in Errol.
Lovely. And you were?
And then went to Drumbrainda.
And your maiden name was?
Carty.
I see. Right. And next we have one of the sons. Johnny is missing at the moment. We'll probably get him later. This is Peter Kiernan. Peter, do you remember when you went to Carrigallen National School?
Well, I do. You went the same time, yeah.
I know that, Peter, yeah. Not the same time, no. You were there before me.
54, yeah. 54, I'd say, yeah.
Who was your teacher that time in the Mr.
First teacher was Miss Molloy, I think she was called. The first day she brought me in, she gave me, asked for my hand, myself and Rosella went together, and she gave me a slap on the hand to show me what the school was going to be like. That's a fact, that's a fact. Yeah.
That was your introduction.
And she was the nicest teacher I've ever come across, as well as that, in all my days of school.
I see. And when did you leave Carrigallen School? 61, I think.
61,
61 we left it in, Peter, yeah. Peter and I were classmates there. We went to the tech after.
Yeah.
Now we have another member of the Kiernan family. Which of them is this now?
Okay,
I know, but the people that might...
Monica Phillips, and I'm in Norwalk, Connecticut, USA. And I started school and I guess in 1949. And my teacher was Mrs. Farrell for the first 3 years, and then Master Mcglynn, until I left to go to the Tech in 1957, which was the first year of the Tech. And I really went to America when you were 50. And then I left for America in 59.
Can you remember your first day at school?
I do, indeed. Mrs. Farrell opened up this big press full of toys or little miniature animals and so forth, and just showed us this is part of our education. I'd never seen so many toys in all my life, and to me it was more torture than it was education, because you weren't allowed to touch them or play with them, just look at them. And then close up the press and put them back together again. So I do. And I think Bridie Riley started with me, and James McTiernan.
I think, Margaret, you wrote a lovely article from Love from Boston. Was it with Love from Boston? Yes. You said you didn't like going to school.
No, I didn't.
No.
I never liked going to school.
Why was that now?
Oh, God. I don't think they'd want to know.
Well, not pressure on that. Of course, we have inside in the house, is there any sign of them come out? Of course, you're a twin, Peter, but your twin is inside there. Mrs. Kieran is in getting them, we'll talk further. On talking about twins, Peter, was there a bond between twins? Sometimes two boys or two girls, if someone was, would it affect you more than your other sisters if something was happening to your twin?
Not really, no, not really.
Used to walk. It used to affect me when I used to see him get, I think should have been my twin. I used to cry. When he got bit, I cried. She cried because she wasn't doing it herself.
Well, you've shown great loyalty to the school to come all the way back from America.
It was a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Right, so until we get the rest of them out, we might meet them later on. Thanks very much for giving us your time, and sorry we called it a wrong time.
You're one bit sorry, you are.
You're far more glamorous. As glamorous as you are now, you're far more glamorous when you get the little. Another member of the Kieran family. Johnny, when did you go to Carrigallen National School?
I suppose, I think the 50s.
And do you remember the first day you went to school?
I do, yeah.
Can you give us any account of it?
Well, I got a penny from the teacher. That's the most thing that I remember about it.
Well, that would have been a good bit of money that time.
Reasonable.
Ah, you would have bought a penny bar anyway, I suppose. And who was your teacher that time? Who was the generous teacher?
Mrs. Farr.
I see. And then who was your teacher when you got into third class, I suppose, that time?
Frank McGuinness.
Ah. How long did you stay there?
He didn't ask anything about him, though.
Huh?
He didn't ask.
We're looking at, this is James Kennedy's house. This was a much smaller house years ago. It's now been done up, beautiful home. It was home to a lot of the Kennedy family who travelled in from here to Carrigallen National School in the 40s and 50s and 60s. And there's nobody living here. We're standing outside the house of Joe Gormley and Maureen Gormley. Maureen and Joe went to Carrigallen National School and got married later on, and all their family. I think they're the only family that the mother and father and living, that the mother and father and the children all went to the one school. As you can see here, this little stool was got by Maureen. She's a bit reluctant to come out at the moment and talk to us, but this was belonging to the low infants, or infants, high infants and low infants. It was in the old national school. It's a lovely little piece of work here. I don't know who the designer was, but that was where you sat the first day you went to Carrigallen National School. We're standing at the house of Brendan and Marion Riley. As you can see outside the door here is Marion and the family. Brendy hasn't arrived home from work. We arrived unexpectedly. Marion has the Carrigallen history book there. She was enjoying it when we just arrived. In the centre is who? What's your name?
Raymond Riley.
Raymond Riley. And beside him?
Gary.
Gary Riley. What years did you go to school, Gary? You went to the new old school?
Yeah.
And so did Raymond?
Yeah.
Right, lovely. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Lovely.
Great.
You enjoyed it. Where did you go to school, Marion?
Killian.
Where was that in?
Between Irishtown and Clemors.
Oh, I see. As you've heard Aidan Hart say earlier on in the tape, when he was telling us about the story of the book, he said that the headquarters was established out near Cloncorry Castle. Well, this is the headquarters here behind us of where the book was started from. We all assembled here at different stages and came in and done the work. And I think it would be no exaggeration to say, without the person standing beside me here, that this book might never have happened. And I am talking about Maureen Williams, ní Kieran. Maureen, you spent a lot of hours and days in that place, going through the roll book, which I will just show you. All these names here.
And a few
are
missed to tell me.
Al, There's thousands in it.
And evidence in there that's not my fault.
Yes, now you have it on video. But she went through all that, thousands of names, got them down.
It's too bad. I should have brought out the actual thing.
Maureen, you set out to gather finance for this book.
Yes.
Can you tell me all the various places and the... Well, I don't want you to tell every name, but it was a lot of hardship. And
Well, it wasn't really, because I did, as fellas says, like Frank Sinatra, I did it my way. If I met somebody at the right time, I felt that going to houses, 2 and 3 people together, didn't work out. We went out one night and we found out nobody at home. So if I met somebody in the town or somebody that had been to the school, I suggested maybe they gave me something, and I didn't put any emphasis on amount to anybody at any time. And lots of people came forward and gave me money without asking.
you got a lot of generous response from people living away, former past pupils.
I did. Marilyn Riley was very generous. The Conleys were very generous. They subbed to the football tournament. My own sisters and brothers, they've all been very generous. Got photographs. The Ploughing Association gave us a good donation. The teacher, not the parents, Parent Teachers Association, and most of the business people in the town. Anyone I approached for money subscribed.
But of course we get down now to the making of this book. There were some anxious moments, was there?
Oh yes, in the beginning there was a lot of them.
Yes. But people were very good giving in their articles, and some people weren't, were they?
Like some people I asked, I didn't get anything from them. And some people that with ability didn't give us anything, you know. So, all in all, I'm quite happy with the book.
Well, you put an awful lot of effort into this book, Maureen. I'm sure you're quite happy to see the finished product.
I'm happy to see it finished, and the next thing to see it sold.
Yes. Well, I think you can be very proud of your contribution to it. And thank you very much, Maureen.
Thank you, Mr. Donnelly.
And
thank you.
just before you go, I think we could look round here at the Cloncorrick Lake down here in the background. And also, just while Killian is panning this area, say that Larry Williams is back up there in the background somewhere. I think he's very camera shy. Larry and Maureen went to Carrigallen School and married later on, one of the few people, past pupils, that did get married to each other. So we'd like to thank them for their time.
And Aidan was very nice to me the other night. I can put his comment on television, can I? He said he wouldn't be married to Maureen Williams and another lady if he was getting a pension. So you can have
I think it could be. If I may say so, Aidan wasn't very diplomatic at times.
Oh no, we've had lots of rows.
Yes.
But Aidan he's like a fish that runs off him. But don't.
Right.
That's it, thank you.
We're now looking at the road that took the pupils in, the Lees, the McCabe's, the Flynns. Maybe I've left some out. Cullen and Brownhill, Drummoniff took us in this way. And they met up with people coming from this road. The Williamses. All on their way to Carrigallen National School down through the years. On over here, this house we see through the trees used to be Mrs. Paddy Williams. I think the McCanns lived in it at one stage, the Flemings. It's now belonging to the Flemings, Carmel Fleming and others who are now living in London, but who went to Carrigallen National School in the 5th Carrigallen Handball Alley. This alley was the scene of many stirring battles over the years. Some great handballers passed through this, now looking very neglected. But I think plans might be on the way to either build one out at our new park or renovate this, I don't know which, but it'd be a sin to see it go to loss. It's a wonderful game, handball. Yeah, down through the years. If I started now, I'd leave out someone, so I won't bother. And there used to be, out on the sides here, there used to be pitch and toss while they'd be waiting on a game of handball. Every Sunday evening, it was packed. Of course, in the 50s and 60s, that's all we had to do. Now they have so much to do, of course, it's neglected. We're now looking at the house of presently Shawn Mcmanus. It used to be owned by Jimmy Cosgrove. He was a shoemaker who lived in Carrigallen, and there's a little shoe shop down here at the left, which is now gone. Up to the right, it's now Shawn Heslin's house, but it was the home of two school teachers. The first was Mrs. Farrell, who you will hear mentioned and seen in the book. She was a national school teacher. She taught all the infant classes right up to 1957 when she retired, and Master Wall, a teacher in the Tech, and it's now owned by Shawn Heslin, whose family all went to the school. And up beyond that we have the old folks' homes now. I remember myself, the Donnellys used to live there for a time. It's now owned by, lived in now, the old folks. We're now looking at the new dispensary. This was got here, it's about 3 or 4 years old. People coming this road years ago wouldn't have seen this. I think we can thank Canon John Young, who's a member of the North Western Health Board, was the mainstay of getting this dispensary, and it's a very needed facility for the town, which for years and years had nothing like it. Over to the right here is what used to be Annie Leonard's house. It's now owned by her nieces, I think the Blaneys from Lurgan. The Blaneys who went to Carrigallen School, and Annie Leonard, Lord of Mercier, went to Carrigallen School. This house up here used to be owned by the late Annaby Smith. We have newcomers to it. I'm not sure of who their names are. Over to the right here is the home of Ethel Maguire, Ethel who married Ned Maguire, who's famous for his buses. A new house there that wouldn't have been there for people travelling this road to school in the 50s and 60s, 70s. Lovely new house here built by the Bothwell family. Eric Bothwell, I remember going to school. He used to go to the school in the old Protestant school. Right. We're standing here on Carrigallen's Main Street. We're looking across here. This is St. Patrick's Terrace. This was home to 3 guards, I remember. Guard Mangan, Guard McCann and Guard Riley. It's now presently owned by, a lot of the houses were owned that time, I think, by the McGuinness family, but it's now presently owned, most of them were owned and sold by the Lockhart family. I don't think there's too many past pupils living in them now. They're all different people. Not a past pupil. We move up along here, you can see Tiernan's on that. That was Tiernan's old shop there. It was owned by the Tiernan family, who Vincent Hoban married Lena Tiernan, R.I.P. We have a space here. Any new people coming to visit us here this evening for our reunion would not have seen this building. That was a vacant lot there for a long number of years, and the Ulster Bank have built a lovely bank on it. We have up above that, we have 4 generations, I think, have existed in that, in Pádraig O'Reilly's. So Pádraig and his son are in there running the business. Above that, it used to be the OK stores, but it's now owned by Eileen Ward. Eileen, who came from Auchnacliff, her aunt, Mrs. Terry Lynch, I think, owned it previously. We have, looking up here now, outside the Corton Mill Theatre and the Town Hall, we have a beautiful crest of Carrigallen. These lamps were put up in the last couple of years here by Leitrim County Council. Also on the side, the far side of the left-hand, right-hand side. We're now outside the Corton Mill Theatre. This is a mill wheel that was donated by the Smith family to Canon John Young, present parish priest of Carrigallen. And up here we can see the entrance to the Corton Mill. We might get showing you inside it later on. The main responsible for bringing it here would be Cathal Farley. He was one of the instigators. the lovely little theatre. We're now looking at this beautiful array of flowers. And this is John and Anne O'Malley's house. Anne was Anne Riley from Mcglynn. John is a Mayo man. Anne went to Carrigallen National School, and she's very prominent in organising this reunion. We're now moving on to over the door of Switney's, which is owned by Anna B. O'Keefe. It's a public house. It's not in use at the moment. Beautiful frontage there. Used to be a grocery. We're now looking at Lachlan McManus' house. And Noreen, Lachlan and Noreen. Miriam and Kevin Jr. went to Carrigallen National School. Up above that is the Connell, where Rosemary, Johnny Connell and Johnny Connell were called, went to Carrigallen National School. Brian, Rosemary, Annette. And up above that we have Smith, three Smith brothers. They are now deceased. The house is owned by Pat Donnelly. Beside that, there used to be cars. Paddy McCann's property. Beside that, and the lovely flowers outside it, is the home of Thomas Newman. Then we have Peter's Inn, Peter Donoghue's house, married to Philomena Donoghue, past pupil, and all her daughters and her son went to Carrigallen National School. Now, below that we have McGuinness house, Anne and Mary McGee, twins who went to Carrigallen, and Anne is very involved in this reunion. You see crossing the road now, into a car is Noreen. You heard her name. Right, we're looking at the old forge there. It used to be owned by the Kilcrease family. It's now owned by the Lockharts. Next we have, which used to be a vacant space here up until 1970 approximately. It's now lived in by the McAllister family, Kevin and Josie. Josie, who was Masterson. The other house is owned by the Donnelly family. Shawn and John Donnelly residing. Now we come to where it used to be a little thatched house here one time. It's now slated, and it's owned by Jack O'Neill. Jack, who went to Carrigallen National School, and his sons Hugh and Peter. And of course we have Greta, who's a very hard-working woman for all the organisations. Next we have through the trees there Tommy McGuckian's house. Tommy McGuckian's whole family went to Carrigallen. He didn't go to Carrigallen National School. He come from Monaghan over 20 some odd years ago. And he's married to Maura Lunny. Beside that is the Kilbracken Arms. We're looking now at the local post office. It's owned by Thomas Lockhart. Thomas Jr., who went to Carrigallen National School, is now our local postmaster. We're looking now at Paddy McCann's supermarket. It used to be a vacant lot up to, say, 15 years ago. It used to be owned by the late P. Smith, who repaired bicycles in that there. It's now owned by Paddy McCann. Beside that used to be, it used to be the Nellie Cusey's chemist shop, now owned by the Mcglynn family, who had a chemist shop before that. Sadly, we don't have a chemist shop in Carrigallen in 1993. Now we have here a beautiful building. Used to be the Brewster's garage one time, as a lot of people would know. It's now owned by Paddy McCann, who has done a wonderful job here. We're now looking at Peter Donoghue's again. I explained it there a while ago. We have a better shot here in the front. And we now move on to Anne McGee's drapery, long time established. Arnie McGee and Mrs. McGee. Been in there. They also sell the papers. They've a long time selling the papers. Down here on the very corner is Pat Masterson's Bar and Grocery. We're now looking at John Jodolan's. John Jodolan's used to be, it's called the West End House. John Joe's mother taught in Carrigallen National School. He was also a pupil himself. The houses up in between, I think, are vacant at the moment. They're owned by John O'Malley, I think. The house in pink is John Joe Rudden's, the Rudden family, who came to live from Ballyconnor. And just up above that is the home of the McIntyres, the late Nurse McIntyre, who brought a lot of babies from around Carrigallen. She was a midwife. Her son Peter will be celebrating the Mass here this evening. Well, we'll get that going over. We'll get the head on the left if we can. I announce it. This is the Mohill Road, which is often, in the old times, it was called the Scordon Road. Not many call it that now, but on the very top on the left there you can see it used to be Mchugh's shop. It's still, Mrs. Mchugh is still there. Her three sons, Aloysius, Joe and PC, went to Carrigallen National School. Beside them is a Lynch household. It used to be Jack McTiernan's tailor shop. And down from that is Maisie Brady, who was Maisie Maguire, brother to Packy and Peter, the late Peter Maguire, and that. And down from that is McManus and Gormley's joinery shop. And of course over here in front of us is McManus's. McManus's used to have a lovely little grocery shop here, and also in years gone by they used to sell ice cream and people could go in when there wasn't many radios and listen to the radio. John Francis McManus is playing at our reunion tonight, and also it reared Christina McManus, ní Murtha, McManus, sorry, who was out in Somalia. We're now looking into the Church of Ireland. A lot, not too many, but some pupils have went from the Church of Ireland religion to Carrigallen National School. I think of late there we had Anna Abbott, then we had Sharon Patterson and her late brother Malcolm, and we had Velma Hill. Years before that we had a few. This is a very beautiful church here, very well kept. Fleming household. This is where all the Fleming family left to go down to Carrigallen National School. All of them are gone away. Mrs. Fleming lives here now. I see walking down the road is a former past pupil, Jim Kiernan. Jim, who's I think spent a couple of days at Carrigallen National School. He came from Cavan, a long-time resident in Carrigallen. He's one of the oldest citizens. And beside this house with the tractor, which at over 80 years of age he still drives, is the home of Packy Maguire. Packy used to be a blacksmith. He had his house of work up Chapel Road. Down below it with the beautiful flags hanging out are two retired school teachers. The first one there is the home of Mrs. Sadie Maguire, who was Mcglynn. And below that is the home of Brendan Hunt and Mrs. Hunt. A Hunt family all went to Carrigallen School. Mrs. Hunt came from... Now looking, this is outside the McDermott home. This home was Larry McDermott and Mrs. McDermott, who was Lucy Shorten. She used to have a little drapery shop there. She's deceased now, and it's also the home to Father Shawn McDermott, who will be celebrating our Mass this evening. And then we have, this used to be...
here, and with all of you who are not here, who may love to be here, but have not been able to do it. So it is a Mass of Thanksgiving. We like to have it informal. Usually Mass is up in the church, and it's rather formal, and this evening it is a bit different, so that you are free to talk to the people beside you. If you haven't seen them for a year or for 20 years, well then why not say hello to them and say who you are. Some of you may have to tell who you are. Many of us have changed over the years indeed. Some of us have got pretty weather beaten. We've travelled a lot, some of us, and we've gone through hard times, so we may not be known to everybody. We hope the weather doesn't spoil this here. We're going to start off now with the beginnings of the Mass. So at any part of the Mass, there's no need whatever to kneel down. because to go over there and to get into the shade, you could even get into the classroom there, and you can take part in the Mass from the distance. You're just as happy over there in the distance. I think I'll stop there because the inclement weather makes it very difficult for those of you sitting there. So we're now going to come to the offertory part. Perhaps we will have... Second Eucharistic prayer. Lord, you are holy indeed, the fountain of all holiness. Let your Spirit come upon these gifts to make them holy, so that they may become for us the body and blood of our Lord Jesus Christ. Before he was given up to death he freely accepted, he took bread, gave you thanks, broke the bread, gave it to his disciples and said, "Take this, all of you, and eat it. This is my body, which will be given."
Confess that Jesus Christ is Lord.
In memory of his death and resurrection, we offer you, Father, this life-giving bread, this saving cup.
Holy presence is my Lord. Alleluia. My soul now glorify the Lord who is my Saviour. Rejoice, for oh am I, that God has shown me favour. The world shall call me blessed. Everybody sings the final hymn, and that's for sure.
Daddy, how can you stop from making it?
I was asked to say a few words, and I think there will be very few. When I saw Aidan talking about the register, I thought he was going to actually have a roll call. It's great to be back, and when I reflect back on my days here in Carrigallen National School, it brings me back to one thing that's going on in my own parish at this present time. The facilities that we had. I'm thinking of the 2 classrooms and proper toilet facilities. In 1990, no fault of Father John Pat over here in Lara, in the upper end of the parish, we have outside toilet facilities, which I think is a shame in 1993. Back when I was here at school in the 60s, we had the facilities, as you see, just behind us, the block. The prefab hadn't arrived. Also, standing here, I think of one man that's missing, Master Mcglynn. I think when I look back, we used to look up the road in the morning times to see was he coming. And if somebody was serving Mass, we used to remember the person that was coming down from Mass would always tell us whether he was at Mass or not. So it's just a few memories that are coming back as I think back as we stand in these grounds. It's also good to see Father Patsy back. We used to enjoy seeing him coming in to the classroom to talk to our teacher at the particular time. It was good as we reflect back in these moments. I think above all, as the sun shines a little longer, I think I might say another few words. But as I reflect back on the fate and how Carrigallen National School prepared me for the life that was ahead of me, both as a priest and as an individual. I think national schools is the root of our educational system, and it's there that we got our education and where it all started, and where the seed was sown for what came afterwards. And today we reflect back and we thank God for the education that we got here in this school. I'd like to thank the people who organised it. It's good to be back, and it's good to celebrate, and it's good to remember those moments when we stood here and thank God and thank the people who gave us that education. And may God reward them for the work that they did as teachers. May God bless them.
Because now the sun is shining, they really have the faith still here in Carrigallen. I thought they had lost it. We've come to the end of this part of the celebration, which is an important part, of course, because we are here joined in mind and body and heart in prayer to God. The church is just up the road there where we have all prayed and gone to Mass and gone to confession and so on. But it is nice for a change on a very special occasion like this to be out here right beside the school where so many of us got our education. Okay, we're coming here to the last prayer in the Mass, and then we'll have the singing at the end, and we hope, as Aidan has said, and he's one man that we must thank in particular. I don't intend to thank anybody except in general, because there are so many people that I wouldn't even attempt it, but I just mentioned Aidan there in passing. The last prayer then, prayer after Holy Communion. O God, our Lord, Amen. The Lord be with you. May Almighty God bless you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Mass is ended. Let us go in peace.
Stand by, you merry pilgrims, and give it a bash.
of the Corn Mill Theatre, Carrigallen. Built about 4 years ago. You can see the beautiful stage up there. An awful lot of Carrigallen past pupils have taken part in it. Numerous plays, and as you will see later on out in the foyer there, where they have a lot of cups and things to their credit. We're now looking at the seating arrangement. The theatre can hold approximately 144. It's very comfortable. Every group that comes here are high in praise. Great lighting system. Some famous dignitaries have sat on those seats. Gary Hines, chairperson of the Abbey Theatre, has been here. Gay Burden and his wife. Brendan Hunt done up for his part in the crucial week in the life of a grocer's assistant. And as we go on up, we see all the different plays Carrigallen. These have taken part in the last 4 years. The communication cord by Brian Friel. The cameraman is over there on the left, Killian McGuinness. See Seamus Rourke, Katrina Riley, Eileen Ward. Eileen Ward won a Best Actress Award in Athlone for her part in the communication cord. Down here we have the Honey Spike. On the bottom we have God's Gentry. Over on the right we have 2 characters who came to visit the theatre with a fabulous show called Frank Pig Says Hello, taken from a Clonus man's writings, Patrick McCabe, or the Butcher Boy. Over slightly down to the right there you see Kieran Goss and Frances Black, sister of Mary Black. And down here we have some of the trophies that gathered here for this year's presentation of The Gentle Island by Brian Friel, produced by Gus Ward. These were won at festivals all over the country. We paid a visit to Carrickmore in County Tyrone. And up on the wall we have a poster where we were in the All-Ireland Drama Festival final in Athlone with the communication cord, and as I said previously, Eileen Ward got Best Actress and we came away with third, which was a great achievement for a rural group. Now at the Gentle Island, this was the play for 1993, which qualified for the All-Ireland. Looking across the island as one of the leading actors in the play is Peter McNamee. This is all mainly done by Tony Fahy. Tony Fahy had a small little part in it. It's very helpful to the Corn Mill. Some lovely photographs there, there's some terrific acting. And we have there doing the sound is Eamon Daly, principal teacher in the local school, who has been with the Carrigallen players when they were the community players. The last 20 years, I suppose he has been with them. Up above, we have a lovely little scroll where we attended the Dundalk Amateur Drama International Festival and we got the Audience Award. I'm speaking now to the Reverend Patsy Young, and he'll tell me how long he spent in Carrigallen. Father Patsy, when did you come to Carrigallen?
In January 1962.
And when did you leave?
I think it was probably August, maybe July 75.
I see.
So,
a
good long spell.
Yes. Did you enjoy your term in Carrigallen?
I certainly did. It was great crack and I enjoyed every minute of it.
You were highly involved, I'd say. Apart from your being a Catholic priest and having to do your duties, your great love was drama.
Up to a point. I mean, the drama sort of grew out of the scene here. I wasn't any great lover of drama when I came here. I remember Master Mcglynn, this celebration has to do a lot with him because he was in the school all that time. But he was the producer of the play when I came here, and I remember being in watching them practicing, and he was directing it and giving orders, and that for the first 2 or 3 plays after I came here, the producer was Mcglynn, and I know that I started doing bits at the light and bits at the set on that, and it was only after Gus Ward and myself, I suppose, maybe a few others were interested in maybe we should be going to a festival or trying to improve ourselves a bit. And Gus and myself went off to Gormanstown on a course. And when Mcglynn heard that, he said, "Oh, to hell with this," he says, "I'm getting out of this." He says, "If you're going to start that crack, I only know one way, and that's the old way." And he was very gracious about it, and encouraged us to go ahead and maybe try to go to an odd festival or that, but he didn't want to be involved at that stage. So that's how it started, really. If I have any love for drama, it's what I picked it up in Carrigallen rather than gave anything, that sort of way.
Well, I think you're being modest there. I think you gave a lot to drama in Carrigallen. But could I just ask you, that time you would have to visit the schools to do for the catechism and for different things. Yes. Have you any funny moments or what from that era?
No, the funniest moment was tonight at the Mass when Father Peter McIntyre recalled that he used to be, or Shawn McManus it was, used to be glad to see me coming in to chat Frank Mcglynn and keep him from doing hammering the manu.
Yes, I see.
We did. We visited the school, and there were just the 2 classrooms there in my time. And Frank Mcglynn, those various assistant teachers there. Sadie then came in from when the 3rd classroom was added on. The prefab, Sadie Maguire came.
You would have been here in 1974 when the outlying school closed. And
yes,
that's when it went to, I think, a 3 or 4 teacher school.
That's right.
I have here with me a man who has left Carrigallen a long time. His name is Jerry Mangan, the son of the late Gard Mangan. Jerry, when did you first go to school in Carrigallen?
Well, Sean, I started, I think it was in 1953. So it's almost 40 years since I started school in Carrigallen. And I left it then in 1962. I went away then to boarding school in Mells and Longford. So they were about the happiest years of my life, looking back on it now,
You enjoyed your term in Carrigallen. What do you remember of your days in Carrigallen?
Well, I remember a lot of things. First of all, I suppose just the crowd of youngsters I was with. You were obviously one of the main characters I remember, and obviously Barry Cusick and Francis Maguire, Peter Kieran, I saw him here tonight, and John Francis McManus was a year behind me.
Yeah, Jerry
Doonan was in our class. I remember Jerry well, and then Jackie, of course, and Vicky Rourke was a few years ahead of us.
Yes.
So there's a lot of, and then of course, like it was a mixed school, so we had a nice selection of girls as well. I remember Madeleine Farlow, of course, was next door to me, and Rosemary. That's right. Annie Flynn, Rosemary, and Ned Conlon, and all that. So I've often remembered, just the people. The memories come back to you from time to time, and I often look back, and we didn't believe in homework in those days. We used to do our homework early in the morning. I remember coming in early, and Master Mcglynn would be there waiting for us to examine it, and we did about 5 or 10 minutes early learning our spellings. I remember P. Kieran and myself there trying to make sure that we made up for the homework we hadn't done on the weekend or the night before. But we used to take our lessons too seriously, but yet we learned a fair bit at the same time,
I think the one thing I remember about you, when they were doing up the old school, I remember you walking the planks on the top. You were a bit of a daredevil.
That's right. That's right. I remember actually, I had a great head for heights in those days. And I remember too when they were building the hall in Carrigallen, and Michael Murray was the contractor, and there used to be very high scaffolding. So I used to spend a lot of time running up and down it and around it. How I wasn't killed, I don't know, but I remember every brick almost of that hall going up, and it was a very. And of course, then when it was built, we used to have great fun watching the dances before we started going ourselves,
Can you tell me, Jerry, what you're doing nowadays? You're a married man, are you?
That's right. I'm married now in Dublin. I have 4 kids. The eldest 19, and from there down 2 girls and 2 boys. The youngest is 11. and I work in the pensions board. I was a teacher and then a civil servant, so I'm now working in the pensions board in Dublin.
Well, I'm delighted to hear that. You look after me when the time comes.
Absolutely, Shawn.
No.
I think we're all getting near the pensioner stage at this stage. Well, we still a good bit to go, but hopefully when we arrive at that, I'll be able to see that you get a pension out of it.
Well, Jerry, thanks very much. It's lovely to see you back again. It's lovely to meet you on this occasion. You're enjoying the occasion.
Very much. I'm delighted. It's a great opportunity to come back after all those years and to be so welcomed, which is a great tribute to Carrigallen that even though it's 26 years since we left, it's as if we're only left yesterday. People are so friendly, and certainly I feel I want to come back more often now in the years ahead.
Are all the Mangans separate all over the country?
Yeah. Well, two of my sisters here tonight, Pauline and Kay. Maureen's in Youghal, Kay's in Galway, and then the rest of us are in Dublin. Brendan and Anthony are still like yourself, bachelors, and they're still living in Churchtown.
You've done a bit of research since you came down.
I only heard about the people who got married. You've still managed to escape, you know. I was caught early, but anyway. And Pauline's living in Dublin as well. But we're all in the country. My father's dead of Lord of Mercy, as you mentioned. My mother is still alive and still.
Well, I didn't know that. That's great to hear, yeah.
So we'll tell her all about that.
Yeah. Tell her I was asking for her.
I will indeed. I will indeed.
That's what I said. The wages must have been only about 12 bob a week.
I remember she used to go down and I
said the wages about 12 bob a week for the girls.
We used to live down just at the corner.
That's right.
Then we lived up the lane there.
That's right.
I have here Mary McNaboe, when she was going to school anyway. I'll ask Mary, when did you go to Carrigallen National School?
1938.
And how long did you stay there?
Until about 1947.
And who would have been your teachers there that time?
Mrs. Masterson, Mrs. Dolan for a little while, then Maggie McCabe came, and then Master Paddy, of course.
What do you mean by of course?
Well, I said of course.
Yeah.
Master Paddy was Carrigallen School, wasn't he?
Yes.
And then we had John Birmingham after Master Paddy left.
Well, that was an awful lot of teachers now. It took an awful lot to put you on the right road, and they did, I'd say.
Well, I was putting them on the right road, actually.
I see. Can you remember the first day you went to school?
I can remember it very well. Me and Rosie Smith of Kivy started the same day.
I see.
And Margaret Smith, Mel McCann, Brendan Dunno, and a few of them had already started, you know, in the Easter holidays. We start in September. You know Paddy Smith, Kivy, the postman?
Yes.
But me and his daughter started the same day. And Mrs. Masterson gave us a penny for being good girls, for not crying.
I see. And where did you go to school from that time? Where did you live at that time?
We lived in the Mill Lane.
I see. Who would have been in the Mill Lane that time beside you?
Who was in the Mill Lane? The Murphys, the Conleys. I think Jimmy Curran was in where Mrs. Donohoe is now. Is it Donohoe? Ellie Rose Conley.
That's right, yes.
And James Eddie Kiernan lived up there as well at the time, in a little old house up there. I think that was about it then.
Well, have you met many of your old pals here tonight?
One or two. A lot of them I don't know, mind you.
Yeah, but you will get to know them as early in the night yet.
Somebody is thumping me all the time and telling me that's so and so and so and so, so I'm getting to know them all again.
Well, how many of your family went to Carrigallen School?
Lizzie, Packy Joe, Jimmy, myself, Tommy, Danny and Cora.
Well, you had a great contribution to Carrigallen School.
We certainly did.
Thank you very much, Mary, for giving us your time. Can tell us themselves anyway at their reunion here. What's the name, please?
Seamus Molloy.
When did you go to Carrigallen School?
Oh, good question. I can't tell you that. There's too many people listening to you.
Think of something, Annie.
Wait, I'm just trying to think of what year it was.
The 70s.
Division, you know that. 1950. 1950. I started.
Who was your teachers?
Mrs. Farrell was my teacher, first teacher, and Master Mcglynn.
Did you enjoy going to school?
Oh yes, of course I enjoyed it.
You remember?
Again, I was glad to get rid of it. I was glad to finish.
And where did you go on to after that, James?
Well, I went to Carrigallen Tech for a few months. Then I went down to Carrigallen to stay with a friend down there for 12 months. And that was basically it.
Where are you residing now?
Right in Dublin. But
I see, you're married up in Dublin?
Married in Dublin and likes coming back to Carrigallen any chance you can get. Yes.
That's grand, it's nice to have you here.
Okay.
Beside you we have your brother Shawn Molloy. Shawn, when did you go to Carrigallen School?
Well, it's like this. It's that long ago I can't remember.
You must have some little memory of it.
1940 he started.
About 1927.
I wouldn't think it was that age now. Anyway.
Come on, give it name of the age.
Who would have been your school pals that time?
Me and Joe Gormley. Sean Williams.
Oh, that's right.
Philomena McCann. Philomena Donnelly now. And Molly Mangan. Noel Brady. Noel Fleming. Alan Riley. The night.
Well, you have your class off well anyway. Can you remember what you used to do at school, play or anything like that?
Well, there was one great game they called Tig.
Yes.
And you never knew who had it.
I see.
And you didn't know who hadn't it.
But tell me, where are you residing now, Sean?
I'm Cork, completely.
What part?
Cork City, 21 years.
I see. No, there's no chance you'll come back to live in Carrigallen?
You couldn't come back to live to Carrigallen.
Why not?
Well, my family is Cork.
Oh, that's right.
My people are like, it'd be the same as me running away from them. If they would come back, I'd love to come back. But who wouldn't? Yeah. But you can't. Cork is my home now.
Well, you enjoy coming back to visit Carrigallen?
I love it. And still, that doesn't mean I wouldn't like to live. I'd love to come back to live to Carrigallen. But you never can. Because your family is completely born and reared there.
Well, are you enjoying the reunion here tonight?
I am enjoying it very, very much.
Have you met anyone of your school pals here tonight?
I've met an awful lot of them. A good mind of them. I'd say I've met 10 to 15 here tonight.
Shawn Molloy and James Molloy, thank you. You first went to Carrigallen National School?
In 1922.
And how long did you stay there?
Well, I stayed there till I finished the middle school in 14 and a quarter, I suppose, like everyone else at the time.
So you used to go there, that was compulsory to stay there till that age, was it?
Yes, from 1926.
And who would have been your teachers there at the time?
Well, Master Paddy was the principal. Mrs. Masterson was the infants teacher. Mrs. Dolan was the first and seconds, and Miss King was thirds and fourths, and that was the 4 teachers.
And where were you living when you at the time? Were you still living in the way you're living now?
Oh yes, and my ancestors lived there as well.
And how many of the royal family went to Carrigallen School?
Well, there was 3 of us. That's the sum total.
I see. And all your family then, your own family went there as well?
Yeah.
Can you remember things, funny things or strange things that happened on the way from school or home from school? Or?
I can remember lots, but to put them, to get them straightened out now, I just can't do it.
Yeah, but there would have been a lot of changes in the times sometimes when there'd be a lot of poverty them times, I suppose, back in.
There might be more today.
Yes, but that time I think was worse anyway. But you were happy?
We were all content. We had enough to eat and drink, and that's the main thing.
Right. Thanks very much, Packy. And you're enjoying the reunion?
Oh, it's great.
Right. Thank you.
5 years time.
We have here Lachlan McManus. Lachlan is chairman of the organising committee. Tell me, Lachlan, are you very pleased with this turnout?
Yeah, it's a great turnout. We expected something about this crowd and it turned out very good.
Of course, you brought with you the experience of running Behamore last year. You were chairman. You didn't go to Carrigallen National School.
No.
And why are you involved?
Well, it's hard to know why. Just happened to thought the reunion last year was a good idea, and it was a good idea to run another one of this for this year in Carrigallen. And maybe we might do the same again next year for another school. So that's the only reason.
I think it would be fair to say the other night they were wondering who started all this, but I think your wife was one of the main starters of this.
It should have been the cause of it, all right. That was the first one I went to over in Roscommon about 4 years ago. And it was a good idea at that time, and it's still a good idea.
Well, a lot of hard work went into this, Lachlan. You were in at the start, but can you explain to us all the difficulties that was in this?
Oh, there was lots of difficulties, but there wasn't as many rows as there was supposed to be. There was some arguments, but not rows. And so it was very hard to have meetings like that without having some disagreements. But everything went well and everyone worked hard. And it's a great... this is Paddy Killian and John Donnelly. How long is it, John, since you were at Carrigallen School?
Well, I'll tell you, it's a good while ago.
What year would that be?
Well, now I was only 5 years of age at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm over 50 now.
Over 50? How much over 50 would you be?
Mind your own business. Yeah.
This is Paddy Killian. Have you any fond memories of your time at Carrigallen School?
I sure have. I only went a couple of days at school, and Master Paddy was the greatest man of all time. There was discipline, cleanliness, and he educated us for the work. And that's one of the things I like about Master Paddy, but he was a little bit wicked too.
And is there anyone that you can remember, any characters that you were at school with?
I can't remember the Mcglynn.
Some of them were good characters.
Oh, that was surely. And I remember Frank used to get up and go home. He used to keep his overtime, and he used to get up at 3 and not go home and leave the rest in the school.
Very good.
And the master, when he was on his holidays, he used to come on his holidays. And we all was at the gate waiting for him to come back of his holidays. And he always had a big bundle of canes when he would come back on his holidays. That's the only thing he ever remembered.
Not so bad. Thanks very much, Paddy. Now, Mr. Donnelly, can you remember any of the nice people you were at school with?
I remember them all.
Any boys or girls? Name any of them that you remember?
Well, I remember a lot of them are dead, you know, and gone. I remember McGuinness and Jim McManus, Billy Corsgovan, and Jerry Corsgovan, Ray Digitalised, and an awful lot of them, you know, I remember now. Too many. Yeah.
Would you like to go back to school again now?
No.
You had enough of it?
Yes. Yeah.
But the schooling didn't do you any harm?
Oh, no, it didn't do me any harm. But I'll tell you, no, it didn't do me any good either. Yeah. I had a scalded arse for years after it. Yeah.
I don't know, can we print that, but we'll try.
That's all right. Well, whatever you think, anyway. But I'm telling you the truth.
Of course.
Yes. But it was all right. It's good.
Thanks very much, John.
Is that it?
That'll do for now. Would you like to say more? Anything else you'd like to say?
Oh, there's plenty.
When we're here.
Plenty I would like to say, indeed. But I'll tell you, I love school in a way. I love school. Carrigallen School. We had 4 great teachers.
Yeah.
But 4 lovely teachers.
What would the names be?
Mrs. Masterson.
Yes.
She was the infants.
Mrs. Dolan, she was the Highlands, you know, first and second. Then there was Miss King and Master Paddy Maguire.
Yes.
And the Miss Wynne used to come now and again, new locum there, Miss Wynne.
Yeah.
Used to smoke cigarettes. Her fingers were all brown from cigarettes, you know. But they were great teachers, they were lovely teachers.
Lovely.
Great people, yeah.
Not too hard, did it? Would they slap or anything like that?
Well, I'll tell you something, I wasn't a great scholar now, by no means. I got off late enough, you know. I did, yeah. There was times.
That'll do it.
Down here and under us we have Eamon and Orla Daly dancing round at the Carrigallen reunion. Two sisters going down and under us here, Maureen McManus and Rosie McManus. We have Anne Moe, formerly Anne McGee, having a dance with one of the former teachers, Mrs. Sadie Maguire, Sadie Mcglynn. Beyond that is Madeleine Rourke having a chat with Christina Martha Nee McManus. Over further is Michael O'Rourke there, sporting a lovely beard, having a chat with Patricia Shorten and her husband from Ballyconnell. Kevin and Noreen McManus coming down here in front of us. Brendan Hunt and his wife Mary, who taught in Carrigallen School up to this year. And coming down and under us is Paddy Gillooly. Lovely waltz here coming from Paddy and Mary McNaboe. Past pupils. Down and under us is Lily McGuinness and her husband. John Joe Dolan giving a lovely swing to Maura McGuinness, Nee Farley. Shea Curtin walking down here in front of us. Frank Clancy dancing Bridget, who was Bridget Doonan. Frank was the former guard in Carrigallen, husband of Elizabeth Doonan. Shawn Mcmanus dancing his daughter Christina, former past pupil of Carrigallen School. Thomas Doonan having a lovely waltz with his wife Terry. Francie Murray dancing his wife Anne Maguire. That was Aidan Hart going over there now, having a view of the whole thing. John Jemison and his wife Mary, who was Mary Shorten, past pupil of Carrigallen National School. Some lovely fancy steps there from John. Here comes Michael Rourke and his wife Madeleine. Michael, who lived in Breda, now living in Ballinamore. Paddy McGuinness. Enjoying the reunion here is Annette Conlon here, in behind her is Bridget Kiernan. Dressed in a lovely white outfit there is Rosemary Connell. Rosemary Halpin now. Eddie McGuinness and Peter Murray, who not past pupils of Carrigallen School, but very welcome. I see in at the counter now Kevin McCabe moving into the picture there. In the corner of the bar here we have Bridget Kieran. We called today Bridget hadn't her makeup on. Still a little hidden from us there. Dressed in a lovely green outfit. Over there having a chat with his wife is Michael O'Rourke. His wife Mcglynn is in the middle, and his brother Terry, past pupils all of Carrigallen National School. Down in front is Anna Abbott, who went to Carrigallen National School. And her boyfriend, I don't know his name. Back behind that is Peter McGuinness, past pupil of Carrigallen National School. Seamus Kevin McManus having a nice chat here with his cousin Jimmy Kieran and his wife Noreen. Jimmy Kieran's wife. Jimmy has come all the way over from England for this. And down behind us here is Bernadette Molloy. We have Bernadette Molloy, whose brothers we interviewed earlier on. And over here to the Farrell Molloy, former past pupil of Carrigallen, in conversation with his brother, and the lassie over here. Coming into focus now is Sheila Rawle, married in Dublin, I don't know her married name, daughter of Packy Rawle, who we interviewed earlier on. No, here. Down and under us here is Bridget Mary Doherty. She's married to a leashed man. Here he is. You're very welcome to Carrigallen. What's your name?
Paddy Moran.
Paddy Moran. Are you enjoying the reunion?
I'm enjoying it very good.
That's right. Bridget Mary Doherty, are you enjoying the reunion?
It's a great reunion. Enjoyed it immensely.
What year did you go to Carrigallen School?
53, 54. Thereabouts.
Do you remember your first day in Carrigallen School? Who were your teachers?
My dreams of you, I'd walk upon an empty stage with one light on my face, could be told don't phone us what we'll phone you. very much. Thank you. Especially for all the people in the magazine committee, Aidan and Lachlan, Nan Riley, Anne Morrow, Paddy Rourke, Elizabeth McGuinness, Martin Fulham, Tony Fahey, all the people. This is a song called After All These Years.
Cold is the night, but warm is your hand in mine. Feeble with faithless time, the light of love still shines after all these years. Your soft assuring way, the rock I lean on. Saw me through my darkest days, when all hope was gone. You're still the only one I never hold near, and I love you after all these years. Time promptly passes on, and I'm grown old. A lifetime nearly gone, I cannot unfold, lies dark and cold, but warm is your hand in mine. Feeble with faithless time, the light of love still shines after all these years. Your soft assuring way, the rock I lean on. Saw me through my darkest days, when all hope had gone. You're still the only one I never hold near, and I love you after all these years. I still love you after all these years. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'd like to thank Mrs. Birmingham on behalf of the committee for making the effort to travel here tonight to receive this presentation. Many of the older past pupils remember her late husband having taught them, remember with great affection. Will you give a round of applause to Mrs. Birmingham, please?
Mrs. Birmingham there, wife of the former teacher, Master Birmingham.
Could I have Elizabeth McGuinness, please?
Elizabeth Mcglynn, wife of Master Frank Mcglynn, the late Master Frank Mcglynn, going up to receive presentation from the chairman, Shawn Mcmanus.
Maybe you might sing us a song, Elizabeth.
Appreciate this presentation very much. It would be lovely for us to
Mrs. Mcglynn receiving a presentation there on behalf of her late husband, Frank Mcglynn.
We will have John Joe Dolan, please, to receive the presentation on behalf of his late mother, who taught in the school.
John Joe Dolan, also a past pupil himself of Carrigallen National School, accepting it on behalf of his mother.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of myself and my family, I wish to thank the organising committee for this nice gesture, this nice present. My mother would be loved to be here on this occasion, and she was always very happy when she was teaching here. And I'd like you to give a round of applause to the organising committee for making this occasion such a success. I'd like to add, when we are all here now, this is a very nice occasion, and I hope our immigrants and our past pupils that has come here tonight will make an annual event so that we'll all meet here and enjoy ourselves like the same we are enjoying again. Once again, I wish to thank the organising committee on behalf of myself and my family.
Thank you very much, Chairman. And now, if we could have Sadie McGuinness, please, to the stage. Sadie had the distinction of teaching in both one of the rural schools, which we celebrated the reunion last year, and also in Carrigallen National School. So if we would have Sadie, please.
Sadie, who was also a sister of the late Frank Mcglynn. Sadie came from Donegal many years ago. Paddy Rourke, secretary of the reunion committee, waiting there. Arrival of Sadie McGuire.
I wish to thank you all here who organised this. I don't deserve it. I'm a blow-in. There's an awful lot of parishioners, past pupils, deserve presentations more than I do. I really don't deserve it, but I appreciate it very much, and I thank everyone who helped to organise this. So thank you very much.
Listening intently and watching all that's going on around them, here is Sharon McCabe,
I'd also like to remind you of this
Michelle Flynn, Marina McCabe, and a brother of them, I don't know his first name, all sons and daughters of Kevin and Monica McCabe, and daughter of Margaret and Mickey Flynn.
At this stage, folks, I think you're tired listening to me. All I want to do is to once again welcome as far as page 64 and read the poem that Anna Hampton read. I think she summed it up about Carrigallen when she said that Carrigallen is a beautiful place and those who are left should care. I think the fact that this has taken place tonight is evident that we do care. We cared enough that when Lachlan and Mack came knocking on our doors last November and asked us to get going again this year and organise it, we went out and we did our best. So I'll finish on that note.
Aidan Hart having a lovely dance here with Maura McGuinness, Niamh Farrelly. Down and under us here is Thomas Smith out here having a dance. I don't know who the girl is dancing with. Dermot Hart walked into the light there, former past pupil, son of the Kilbracken Arms proprietor, Alfie Hart. Up here we have Cathal Shorten having a dance with his cousin Mary. Some lovely steps there now. Maureen Gormley having a nice dance here with Lily McGuinn's husband. Tommy Morrow and his wife Mary. We heard during the week that it was Mick Jagger's 50th birthday. I think we have him here tonight. Look at those very fine steps. Very nice of Mick Jagger to come to the Carrigallen reunion. He's been entertained there by Maura McGuinness. Maura would be a fan of the Rolling Stones. Sean Riley has taken a keen interest in him there. Desi McTiernan behind him there is very taken in with it. Oh, nice of Mick Jagger to appear. Thank you very much, Mick Jagger. Margaret Flynn, which was Margaret Flynn who went to the National School, and Hughie McGuinness really taking an interest in it. And Packy Joe McGuinness behind that there. Mick Jagger, the centre of attraction there now all the time. He's taken off his glasses and, oh, his wig has slipped a bit. It looks awful like Shea Curtin there. Mickey Lee, who wouldn't remember the Rolling Stones. Paddy Gillooly is ignoring him here with his back to us. Peter Degnan, who has his back to us at the moment, maybe would turn round and face us. I don't know what Farrell is telling him, advising him. Peter Degnan is a man that needs advice. Peter Degnan. Give us an applause, Shaker. Very good. Oh, I see Mick Jagger is making his way here. Mick Jagger being greeted by... Nice to have John Francis McManus entertaining us, former past pupil of Carrigallen National School.
space we used to lie.
Mrs. Fleming and Jim McManus. Jim is a former past pupil of Carrigallen National School. Mrs. Fleming, whose husband, Lord Immersion, was a guard in Carrigallen. All her family went to the National School. Aidan Hart trying to rekindle old flames here with Roselle and Kieran. Very romantic dance here. Mary McNabore having a nice dance with Eddie McGuinness. Eileen Ward having a lovely dance here with John Jemison. Eileen is teacher in Carrigallen School. PC McHugh and Annette Conlon there. We'd like to welcome PC and Annette. PC living up in Westmead now.
Jerry Mangan can sing a song this time. Jerry Mangan.
I always do. I on him. Where's the light? You're blocking the light.
Two.
State my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway and more. But more than this, I did it my way. Yet there were Now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing.
That was Seamus Gray.
I did all that, and may I say, not in this shy way. Oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he is not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of what it is. The record shows I took the blows and did it my
On behalf of
I'm playing, but if you do it,
Like the youth are of a terrible wrong, when the flags that flew and half man. A man he lay dead, he was written right dead, and he died on the streets of Belfast. Oh, the radio said there's another shot dead, and he died with the gun in his hand. But they never said why Billy Reid had to die. He died to free Ireland. It happened one day when the Molloy ran, went out to fight for the land. He died to free Ireland. While the morning began, Billy Reid.
Hello, Maurice Brady. You're welcome.
How are you? Was all disposition and fire from the top of the fire. So he died with an old mountain song. Oh, the radio said there's another shot dead, and he died with a gun in his hand. But they never said why Billy Reid had to die.
Hello, Paddy. Enjoying yourself.
This
is Miss. Enjoying yourself. Who's this woman? Who's this woman?
Pauline Mangan.
Oh, Pauline Mangan, you're very welcome. Lovely. Sean Donnelly is by now.
I know you will.
Are you enjoying yourself?
Fabulous.
I had an interview with your brother Jerry there not too long ago.
That's right.
Yeah. Are you enjoying the reunion?
Oh, it's fabulous. The best. I am thrilled we came.
Where are you living now?
Dublin. Dublin, yes.
Delighted to see you down here. You're staying overnight?
We are, yes. We're going back tomorrow.
We'll see you.
Lovely, every minute of it.
Lovely. It's lovely to have you back. Thank you. Hello, Karen, how are you? Down under us we have Kaylee and Molly Masterson enjoying themselves. Hey, you went to Carrigallen National School. When, what years?
For all the good it done me.
What years did you go?
I finished about 59. So what year would I start? About
I don't know.
54,
Who would have been your
53.
teacher? Who would have been your teacher that time?
Mrs. Farrell was the first teacher.
Aye.
And
you finished up with Master McGuinness.
I finished up with the famous Master Mcglynn.
And you went on to Mine College. That I remember you had a reunion not too long ago.
Well, a reunion last year. 25 years when we done our leaving. It was
lovely.
Mine school.
And many of the Lee brothers went to. I don't think there was any sisters in the Lee family.
No, there's no girls at all.
No. Many of the Lee brothers
brothers. Five brothers of mine. Six boys altogether. Christy Madonna was there as well for about 80 years.
That's right. All past pupils of Carrigallen. Can you give me that name?
Farrell was the eldest. Jim, DJ, Bernard, myself, and then Liam.
That's right. Are you enjoying the reunion?
Oh yeah, it's just great. Great to see some of the old faces.
Molly, we met you in Mehemore reunion last year. We mightn't have got to interview you. Did you enjoy yourself?
Yes, very much.
Are you enjoying yourself here tonight?
Yes, it's great. Yeah, I love it. It's really good. Yes, lovely to see everybody.
Thank you very much, Molly. Kevin McCabe having a lovely dance here with his daughter. Lovely to see it. Everyone enjoying themselves. And Monica having a daughter with her, having a dance with her daughter. Just in under us here we see Norbert Smith and his wife Marion. Marion is sister-in-law of Katrina O'Reilly, married to Shawn, and Norbert's a Mchugh man. And we welcome them here tonight. They brought down Paul Kieran, former past pupil of Carrigallen School. And here we have Eric Bartwell having a lovely dance with Monica Kieran.
He turned back towards the window, pushed out a cigarette, laid it off to sleep. But somewhere in the dark, yonder he won't be. It is my words I found the rest that I can see. Do not know when to hold, know when to fall, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never found your money when you're sitting at the table every time.
Under us here we have John and Ann Morrow enjoying their night. Here we have Ann Morrow, was formerly Ann McGee, who had an awful lot to do with this reunion. Ann, are you enjoying yourself tonight?
Very much so.
When did you go to school in Carrigallen? What year did you start?
Don't ask me questions like that, Shawn.
I know, a lot of people, you can tell lies, you know.
I don't remember.
Ann, who is a twin of Mary, is married to John Morrow, and you're glad to see it over. You put a lot of preparation and help into this now. Are you glad to see it over, or are you sad to see it over?
I'm enjoying it.
Have you met many of your old school pals here tonight?
Yes, yeah.
Can you name me any of them?
Patricia Shorten, Mary Maguire, James Molloy,
Down under us here is John O'Malley and his wife Ann. Ann, who was Ann O'Reilly from Ahawillan. Ann has put a lot of effort into this reunion and she's enjoying herself here, and well she should. She put a lovely, great effort into it. Mulligan, past pupil of Carrigallen National School, having a lovely dance with Mchugh Riley here. And over beyond that is Terry Doonan. There's Terry Doonan and Thomas. Eamon Gray there having a dance with Michael Doherty's wife, sorry. And beyond that is Margaret Doherty, Bridget Mary Doherty, and Liam Grimes and Eleanor Doherty. Having a dance there with Mary Gorman, who was Mary Maguire, who went to Carrigallen National School, daughter of the late Peter Maguire, sister of Jerome, Francis, who couldn't be here tonight, and Margaret. Meeting up there with Thomas. Yeah, on them. On the right here is, at our reunion, is Jerry Mangan, who we interviewed earlier on. Beside him is his wife Grace, and talking here is Kay Mangan, who went to school in Carrigallen. Beside her is Pauline Mangan, and beside that is Anne Morrow, nee McGee, and beside that is John Morrow. Right. Have Maureen Gormley and Joe Gormley. Maureen had a great input into this book and into the reunion. Maureen, are you satisfied with your night's work or your week's work or your month's work?
Absolutely. It was a wonderful success. I'm really delighted with it. The only thing is I'm hoarse from talking to everybody and meeting up with everybody. People I haven't seen for 20 years. It's really wonderful. Really beyond my imaginations.
Thank you very much, Maureen. Joe, have you met a lot of your classmates here tonight?
Oh, indeed we have. There'll be 5 or 6 of them anyhow, indeed. Very, very happy to meet them all again.
I'd like to put on record that the book that you will be receiving, the front cover was from Joe Gormley's memory. I think you have a wonderful memory, Joe.
Well, for some things.
Yeah, very happy with this reunion tonight.
Oh, definitely, yes. It was great. Great. I hope it happens often.
Here, Anne O'Malley, who was Anne O'Reilly. Anne, you put a big effort into the organising of this reunion. Are you very happy with it, how it has gone?
I'm on a high. That's all I can say. It went tremendously well for us. Everyone seemed to enjoy themselves and they wanted to go on for hours and hours.
Have you met many of your old school pals here tonight?
Some of them, but I've got more enjoyment out of seeing other people, meeting their friends and their reactions.
Your sister Kathleen was here. Here we have Jack McManus. What year did you go to Carrigallen National School?
1946.
I would say you're exaggerating a bit. What have you here, Jack?
My boots when I was young and handsome.
Right, and your school, is that your school bag?
Yes, school bag.
And what's in it? Can you show us the school bag?
Boots and all.
Boots. We'll check out one of them and we'll see how you're doing. This is Jack McManus's book when he went to school. Square measure, all these different books here. Some lovely books here, well preserved. How did you keep them so well preserved, Jack?
Down the edges.
Down the edges?
Down the edges.
Are you happy with the reunion here tonight, Jack?
Lovely. Lovely going.
Have you met any people that went to school with you?
No. Not one.
Not one?
No.
And no one near your class?
No.
Are you disappointed?
No.
No. So these are the little boots you went to when you were in infant class with?
Infant class?
Yes.
1 year old.
1 year old. Well, they're absolutely beautiful. And you made great work to preserve them.
They're like myself,
now.
they're antique.
They're what?
Like myself, they're antique.
Well, that's lovely. Thank you very much, Jack. It's lovely to see and have you. Right.
Lovely.
Who are you in the book for now? Here we have, in the light, Joe. Here we have Joseph Mchugh.
How are you, Shawn? How are you?
When did you go to school, Joe?
Oh my God, some long years ago. I'd say around 1950. 1950, very happy times.
You enjoyed school?
Well, I'd say the first visit I had to the national school was when Mrs. Masters was there, Behamore. She was a lovely lady, and my God, as the fella says, very short time after that. I always remember the little Killian, as you know, the little kiddie chairs, you know, the little round chairs.
Yeah, we've seen one of them already tonight, Joe. We have one on the video, Joe.
Have you, John?
Yes.
Yeah?
No.
And after that, Mrs. Farrell, and I always remember her as a lady of very, very nice to children. And she always got us to put her bottles on the fireplace there and so on and so forth. And I think she was very nice. She lived below where Shawn Hessel is living at the moment, down there in the ball alley. And all memories now, it'll take you a little, not as short as you were after giving me there at that moment. You were supposed to give me a little bit more time today to reflect on these things, but as best I can reflect on them, I safely say the best things I can reflect on was Master Kelly, Tom Kelly. He bought that bicycle, believe it or believe it not, that is produced in the book. You know, that's mentioned in the book. He bought that off me dad. No question. He was a bicycle dealer, and he got it for Tom at a very reasonable rate, and it was one of the best ones. And the second person that got a bicycle at that particular time was Greta McCabe and Behamore, of the same, you know, the same status. It was a bicycle with a hub dyno with 3-speed and a bottle on it, and Tom Mangan was another fella. That was Jerry's father.
The local Garda.
Huh?
The local Garda.
The local Garda, right, yes. But like, you didn't give me much time now, Shawn, to...
Ah, well, we can't. Joe, there are a lot of people went to Carrigallen National School.
He was supposed to come over today about this. You know?
We have covered your house, Joe.
Huh?
We have covered the lovely shop that used to be there.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Well, there's no question about that.
You've enjoyed the night here, Joe, have you?
Absolutely, absolutely. I give a lot of credit to John Francis and Killian and all the people that has put a lot of...
Joe Mchugh, thank you very much. Nice to have you.
Shawn, thank you very much. Thank you very much. But you never give me back me little plaque that you were supposed to...
Have here PC Mchugh. What year did PC Mchugh start in Carrigallen School?
Oh, in 1959, Shawn.
How long did you go for?
I went for 3 years, actually.
Why only 3 years?
Because my mother and father thought I was overeducated and it was time to take me out of Carrigallen.
I see. Do they still think it?
Well, not the present day, actually. My father died there about 4 years ago, but some people say I'm overeducated even today, Shawn. And the majority of people in Carrigallen think that you're very highly educated as well.
I see. Well, we all went to the one school, so we should be. But anyway, getting back to the... Can you recall a funny incident for us from school, as Paddy Crosby used to say?
Well, Lord Shawn, if you delete the last 3 minutes of it, I will recall a very funny incident. James McTiernan and I, we were allocated the job of taking the buckets of water up to wash out the gents' toilets, which were dry, and Eileen Nixon and Monica Kieran were allocated the job of taking up the buckets of water to wash out the ladies. So McTiernan and Mchugh anyway thought of a great idea that when we'd walk up and meet the girls, nearly halfway, we're up with a bucket of water and across the wall, and who did we throw it on? Only Mrs. Farrell, Lord of mercy on her. Plus the galvanised.
I say.
Got the fucking hammer that I got, you'd have to be watching all those things.
Mrs. Farrell didn't know. Thank you very much, PC Mchugh. It has been wonderful talking to you. And when you get your senses back, we'll interview you again.
I've all my senses with me tonight. I'd love to thank Shawn Donnelly and Mr. McGuinness and all the people in Carrigallen tonight, including Paul Kieran, that's picking his nose through his glasses.
And your brother Aloysius is not here tonight.
No, Aloysius, no. He's after getting a new shoe and he had to go down to Wexford to wear them in, actually.
Oh, I say, yes. Well, it's nice to see you here tonight, and it's nice to see that your mother is keeping fine over there in what used to be a lovely shop. And you were reared on ice cream, weren't you?
I don't know, Sean, was it ice cream or the ice that was on the lake?
Right. Thank you very much, PC. Good luck. Normally before this we have seen his grandfather, we've seen his mother and father. How does Gerald relate to all this commotion tonight? How do you feel about it?
Well, Sean, I think I must be one of the youngest people here tonight that went to Carrigallen National School, but the one thing I will say, I just glanced through the booth tonight before I came home, and it was great to see the first under-12 team from Carrigallen ever to win the county championship.
I think you must have been on it, Gerald, were you?
I think I was, yeah. Yes,
And
I was stuck with the booth.
I will have to say I was proud to be in charge of the team, the first one, and it was wonderful. Memories from Carrigallen School?
Well, myself and Kieran and Derek, the three of us wrote an article together, but I don't know what happened to it, but it doesn't matter anyway. We had a great time in Carrigallen National School, never will be forgotten. And I must say it was a credit tonight. I was delighted to come home to Carrigallen this weekend and see such a buzz and a hive of activity around the town, and I hope it will happen again. I hope it will happen next year and every other year to come, because every other town around Leitrim, as far as I could see, was having a festival of some sort or other, but Carrigallen was having nothing, so it's great to be able to come home and have a good weekend in Carrigallen.
Thank you very much, Gerard.
Cheers, Sean.
Just hold that mic for a second, will you? I have here Mary Doherty, nee Hackett.
Yes, that's very important.
When did you go to Carrigallen National School?
Oh, a long time ago, Sean will say. A long time ago.
You don't want to tell us your age.
Not exactly, no.
No.
About 10 years ago.
Yeah. Slight exaggeration, Mary, is it? But nevertheless, anyway.
You're coming in beside me here.
This has been joined by Eamon Gray here. Mary, you have emigrated to Australia.
Yes.
How do you like it out there?
Well, it's good, but there's no place like home, Sean.
You came back for a very special occasion last week. What was it?
Raymond's wedding. This is also a very special occasion.
You met a lot of your school pals here tonight, have you?
A lot of them.
Can you tell me who they were?
Maureen Flynn, Bridget Doonan, Elizabeth Doonan. Too numerous to mention, really, but I'll have to think about that.
You really enjoyed yourself.
Great night, great night.
Right, Mary, won't delay any longer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sean.
Just hold it till he finishes that. Sean. Right. You're past pupil of Carrigallen National School. Will you introduce yourself to us, please?
Hello, Carmel Mulligan, joined Carrigallen from Ballycullen at 8 years of age, along with my three sisters, Tina, Pauline and Nicola, now all past pupils. What might be a little bit different about us is the fact that the very day that I left, I met my sister Jodie joining. Very shy she was, but she made it there too. We're all now the same height and just as dangerous as each other, I think. Well, anything else?
Are you enjoying the reunion here tonight? Have you met any of your school pals?
I have met practically most of them. There is a few maybe from Gortramone that I haven't met actually. A bit disappointed about that. Maybe Colette McCabe, Teresa, Donoghue, etc. I'd like to see them there, and maybe a few from Harvard, but apart from that, Carrigallen definitely represented well. Outside, maybe not.
You haven't told us why or where you reside. Where do you reside? Could you tell us, please?
Right. Well, all four of us are now living in Dublin. Myself and Pauline have a flat in Rathmines. Tina is living in Dalkey and Nicola in Inchicore. She's at college. She's not so much...
Actually, Carmel, I meant before you went there.
Right. I spent 7 years in London.
Excuse me, no. What I want to know is what took you to Carrigallen and where you reside in Carrigallen.
Reside in the barracks, very close to the black hole. I'm sure a lot of you haven't experienced such joyous occasions as to be swelling around there. Swelling you would be if you are there. Yes.
It's been wonderful interviewing you, Carmel. You're a pleasure. Thank you very much.
An absolute pleasure for me too, Sean.
John Francis, you must be a proud man to be asked to supply the beautiful music here tonight.
I was proud to be asked, definitely. I don't know how beautiful the music was, but we did our best. And I'd just like to add that it was our first time ever to perform together a three-piece suite here tonight. So I hope it went down well.
Well, I think it did. A lot of people. You got a lot of people out dancing. Memories of Carrigallen National School, what are they? Who was your teacher?
Mrs. Farrell was one I remember with great, what's the word?
Affection.
Affection, yeah. This has been recorded. I'd sooner if it wasn't. Could we cut this interview? Could we cut this interview short?
No. No, but you left Carrigallen School and you went to where?
Mine school for 1 year, and didn't work out too good. So they sent me off to Moat, where I met Mr. McGuinness here.
Our cameraman. Yeah. Do you recall anything scandalous about our cameraman?
No, his father was a teacher as well. Did he teach around Carrigallen at one stage?
He did, yeah.
And I was delighted to meet up with him because it gave me a connection in Moat, where we're all... Westmeath was far removed from Carrigallen.
You, in your younger years, I recall, you won a talent contest in the, what we'd call the old hall now, or still the hall, town hall. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Well, there was no claphammers around at the time, but there was a great crowd of lads at the back of the hall.
And you're not telling me now that you had booked them all and paid them to win this prize. I think you won them. What were you playing that time?
Harmonica, I think.
Yes, I think it was. You done the circuit around Carrigallen for a long time and Ballinamore and all that. You based yourself a lot on Johnny McAvoy, did you?
I'll just tell you one funny story where I had a booking in John McGirls in Ballinamore one evening, and the weather was something like this summer, where he had to be lapped and things like that, and it was getting near gig time, so I had to allow myself at least 2 hours to get to Ballinamore because I had no wheels, so I was hitching. So my father says, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going for a drink of water." So in for the guitar. I was in Ballinamore 2 hours before I should have been there. So I went down to John Joe's to leave the guitar in. I was going up to Smiths, who were friends of the family, the Smiths, the Undertakers in Ballinamore. And just before I left, didn't 2 busloads of students pull up outside John Joe's to clean the canal, as it happens, to do voluntary work on the canal. Now it happens to be one of the European waterways. And John just said, "Wouldn't it be great if we got them in?" So he put a speaker at the door, and I started singing. And you could see all the heads turning, and they all came into the pub. But between them, they didn't spend, I'd say, £3. A bottle of beer was bought, and it was passed from one to the other. In fact, they bought me a drink, but they bought nothing for themselves.
This man will have to introduce himself because I am not that familiar with him. So I'll hand it over to you. I know you're Paul Kieran, but tell me all about your family and why you were in Carrigallen and why you're here tonight.
Well, as this man says, my name is Paul. I arrived in Carrigallen in 1943. My father was in the bank, and I went to the national school here until 1954. I left Carrigallen in 1954 to go to boarding school, and my family left Carrigallen the following year because the bank decided to close the office, and my father was sent to Donegal and the family retired to Dublin. I'm delighted to be back in Carrigallen. I've been here once or twice before with my children and my wife. We spent a weekend here in the house, in the hotel that was our house when we lived here. And I'm privileged, have been privileged to being invited back to Carrigallen by Maureen Williams and my cousin Norbert Smith, who was instrumental in me being invited here. And I'm absolutely thrilled, and I've enjoyed my night out immensely. And I'm proud to have associated and have met so many people that my family have known and I have went to school with, and I would hope that it won't be another 39 years before I come back to Carrigallen. Thank you.
Paul, that was a lovely introduction of yourself. Did you meet many of your school pals tonight?
Well, it's hard to recollect the amount of people I went to school with 39 years ago.
Yes, I know.
But I would say I have met maybe 6 or 8 fellas that I went to school with. To be honest with you, I don't remember all the girls, but I suppose at 10 or 12 years of age, you don't recognise the girls as much as what the kids nowadays would recognise as at 12 years of age. But I did meet some of them. I have gotten contact with 1 or 2 that have living beside me in Dublin, and hopefully in the next couple of months I will get in touch with them and maybe we'll have a couple of nights out together.
Beside Paul here is Mrs. Fleming. Mrs. Fleming, do you recall this man and his family being in Carrigallen?
Yes, I was very familiar with his father and his mother, and I knew all the family really well. And his father was a great man for golf and for greyhounds. And I remember I used to put a bet on for him, announced to everybody on the horses. Nobody knew anything about it.
Including me.
Including you, right. But I was absolutely delighted to meet Paul tonight, because it was fantastic, meeting him after all those years. And he's such a comfort. It's such a pleasure to talk to him and talk about all the news and what have you. Yeah.
Well, of course, Mrs. Fleming, all your family went to Carrigallen National School.
They did, every one of them. Yeah, the whole lot of them.
And your grandchildren.
And my grandchildren. That's right.
So you're a very proud woman to be here tonight on behalf of them all.
Exactly. Yeah, very proud and delighted to be associated with the whole committee and.
I have here beside me a past pupil of Carrigallen School. What's your name, please?
Shawn Riley.
When did you go to Carrigallen National School?
1958.
Did you enjoy your time there?
Well, it was good enough, like, yeah. All the boys was there, and
who was your school pals?
There was 5 within the. 5 was doing the. Just 5 within the one class. Yeah.
Do you remember their names?
I do, yeah. There was James Riley, Michael Riley, and myself, Maury McCabe, and Patricia Rourke.
Oh, just the 5 of you?
Just the 5 of us, yeah.
And did you get up to any pranks or anything like that, going or coming from school?
Nothing, no, there was nothing out of it, nothing original, yeah.
And how many of your family went to Carrigallen National School?
Well, the whole family of us went here.
Can you give me names?
Well, there was, we started off with Margaret, and
Joe.
It was Margaret, and there was Joe was next, and there was Nell and Anne, and myself, and Franny. Huh?
Where did you live at that time?
At that time we lived in Killahurk.
And you then moved to where?
In 1963, it was a big wind. We moved to Breda.
And were you still going to Carrigallen National School when you were in Breda?
I was still going, yeah. And I think that we're all going except Margaret, I think, at that time.
And you're now residing where?
In Dunbrainless.
Yes, we were at your house this evening. But you were absent. Yeah. But it's lovely having this interview with you, and you're nearly the last one on the tape, Shawn Riley. We're very proud to have you. Thank you very much.
Fair play to you. Thank you. Lovely. What am I doing here?
Norbert Smith, a visitor tonight. Paul Kieran said you were a cousin of his, responsible for bringing him down.
No, he's a cousin of mine.
Oh, I see.
Right.
And did you enjoy the night, Norbert?
Immensely. Very well. I love Carrigallen. I love the Carrigallen people. And my sister-in-law is a native of Carrigallen. And I love coming down to Carrigallen every opportunity I get.
And where are you a native of yourself?
Oh, I'm Newton, County Cavan.
Rumour has it you were a very good footballer up there.
Is it? station putting in here, is there?
Yes, I think so.
Right.
I think you won a Dublin Senior Championship medal, or junior, I don't know, tell me.
No, junior and Cavan won the one day.
You won the two on the one day?
Yeah.
One in Dublin.
One in Cavan, 1964.
Completely illegal, you should give them back.